Hey there, welcome back to Sit If You're Able. We're back after spring break. Good to be back. And we've got a new guest this week, Chase Schulten. Nice enough to join us. Chase, good to have you on the program here.
Yep, thanks for having me.
So Chase, former Bellarmine undergrad, now a grad student here. He's an adult. So when did you finish your undergrad?
Over the summer, past summer, 2023.
That's right.
Yeah.
We had what was that, business writing or something?
Business writing, yeah.
Great class.
Yep.
Probably my favorite class I've taken since I've been here.
Yep, Professor Childress.
Awesome dude. But that's how you got to know him, and I've been interning. He's actually working over at ESPN Louisville, so been able to work with him, and it's been great. But we'll get to that in a minute. Wanted to talk first because I'm not a soccer guy, and you are. So it's a sport that I'm interested in, but I just can't catch on, busy doing really unimportant stuff, so I just can't sit there. I'm busy sleeping like on a Saturday. I can't wake up and go watch the Premier League.
Yeah.
But anyway, grew up playing soccer and grew up in Louisville. Where did you go to high school?
I went to St. Xavier High School,
right.
right down the road.
So grew up playing soccer there. Just kind of, tell us about going to St. X, playing soccer there. And
Man, St. X soccer, ever since I was, 4 or 5, my uncle's been the coach there since before I was born. So I've been going to the games. He has, I think, 13 state championships. So I've been to all of those games, watched them. So for me, it was like when I got to St. X, it was a coming of age. Like I finally got to participate in something that I've been watching my whole life and been building towards. And it was really cool. I mean, St. X, I talk about it without soccer, talk about it with soccer. The soccer part of it was, in my opinion, it's the best. It was one of the best experiences I'll probably have in my life. Not to sound like I peaked in high school, but
I feel that
it was a great experience, and I'm still involved with soccer afterwards. So it helped me grow my passion for the game.
Yeah. So 13. When was the first championship you won? When was the last one? 13 of them though.
The first one was 01.
Okay.
And he has said this to me, and no offense to anybody, but he said that was the least talented team he's ever won with. Said it, by far the worst team state championship team that he's ever won with. And I guess the latest one was this past year, 2023.
Okay.
So in the fall.
So 13 and I'm not good at math.
22 years.
22
years, yeah.
That's a pretty good ratio right there.
He knows what he's doing over there,
So I'm assuming you were on it. Were you on a championship team?
Yeah, I won 2.
Okay, good. Good.
I was riding the bench most of the time my junior year, and then my senior year I got to play.
There we go. Carried the team.
I was all region, but by no means would I carry the team. That was I had some very good teammates. So
what position were you playing?
I was center mid at St. X.
Okay.
So I've played in my career every position except striker and goalie.
Okay.
So
my brother plays or used to play lacrosse, and that's I think they have similar. I don't think strategy-wise it's very similar, but they have the similar positions. So from what I remember, midfielders they do a lot of running.
Oh yeah.
They do the most.
Yeah, I had to. I was in much better shape than I am now, obviously. But it was quite a bit, and really, center mids have to know what everybody else is supposed to be doing.
Okay.
And you have to and really the center backs too, like the central defenders also, but you're not really turned around to see what they're doing.
No,
so you kind of just have to trust that they're doing what they're supposed to, and a lot of the game as a central midfielder is mental.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
So you are not exactly. I feel like soccer is kind of a unique sport in that it's hard to compare it, but it's almost like a point guard.
Yeah.
Similar.
And I think, and that's the thing, like lacrosse, I know they run plays, like they'll run specific plays. Like we have a style, like Bellarmine basketball has a style of play, but they run plays out of the style. We just run a style, and we just make the right decision, try to make the right decision. And that's everybody.
That just comes from playing and knowing how this guy's going to react. Okay.
Yeah. So it's very cerebral. That's part of the reason I like it, and it's part of the reason I like to coach it, because I don't have to draw up plays. I just, try to help their decision making, and eventually the kids grab onto it. So it's fun.
Yeah, that's very. I feel like that's very unlike most American sports.
Oh yeah.
Maybe hockey. I don't think they run. I don't know. I think hockey, they do have some set plays that they'll run in.
Yeah. Well, I think they have set positions, I guess, kind of like soccer, where they have one guy that's, for a certain set has to be on the wing. And, I don't know exactly how it works, but I should know. I know a hockey coach. I know a few hockey people.
There's a lot of hockey guys over
at the radio station.
At the station. But
yeah.
That's a cool thing I think about soccer, though, is like there's really, I guess there are some points, but there's not a whole lot of time where you can go in and set up a play and call a play, because it's always, people think it's slow and boring, but the ball never stops. Even if it goes out of bounds, it's right back in bounds. So I think it gets a bad rap at times for being slow.
Well, and you've got, and it's funny when you watch American soccer, because the set piece plays, like on corner kicks or free kicks, are so much more creative than the ones over in Europe. And it's because, like you said, like we grew up watching basketball and football where it's inbounds plays or drawing up plays, and and that's kind of an American stigma that, we'll score on a set piece and then we'll just be very structured defensively and we'll kick the ball down the field without really worrying about possession. But it makes a difference, and scoring a corner kick goals, like in my mind, that gives you a +1 in a tie game, basically. Like I think of it like that, where if you don't score from open play, to me it's like you get a little bit of an extra push for that.
Yeah.
So
very nice. So where are you coaching right now?
Falls City Soccer Club. It's we're youth select club. We've been around since 2014, and I was playing. My dad is a part director. My uncle is another director. My other uncle is another director, and it's family, and we're still going strong. So
that's awesome. Yeah,
loving it.
So just got into that right after or during when you were in school.
So when I transferred to Bellarmine from Center.
Yep.
College in Danville, middle of nowhere, Kentucky, and that started it up because to be honest with you, I get paid what I think is handsomely for doing work that I pretty much enjoy.
Yeah.
So, I've enjoyed
for sure.
it.
So without overwhelming me in my lack of knowledge for soccer, what is the kind of the style that you try to push?
I like to keep the ball a little bit more, and I think you're starting to see that as the younger generation gets older.
Okay.
We're progressing, like the United States in general is progressing in our ability to play. Like possession is thought to be a higher quality. Okay, it's a little bit more offensive. It's a little bit more fun to play and a little bit more fun to watch, and a lot less counterattack straight up and down, like open field, just fly up the field, sprinting back and forth. So I play a little bit more possession based, but I definitely push the structured defense, because you'll see some coaches even at the pro level where defense is kind of just, you don't have marks, you don't have man to man, you play kind of like a zone, or you'll just push and pressure until they cough the ball up, and if they don't, you foul them and reset. But I definitely push structure. Everybody needs to know their man. We need one person free at the back, and everybody knows where they should be at all times when the other team has the ball. Because at the level that I'm coaching, it's very important that happens because they're 13 and 14 years old.
So the new way of thinking is kind of slower, keep control of the ball, ball control.
Yeah.
So it's the complete opposite of what's happening in football.
Yes.
Where the new school is push the tempo. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's
or American football.
And that's why I say, like, people in the United States used to think watching soccer was so boring. And if you watch the Spanish league, it can be boring because they will keep the ball ad nauseum. Like, they will just pass it around their back if they have to, until somebody makes a bad decision and jumps out at the wrong time.
Yeah. Okay.
But you can find, like, my favorite team, Liverpool, just plays. Like, they just go and they put pressure on, and they'll keep possession, but they keep it in a way that's challenging the other team a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got to watch the right team.
Yeah.
If you're going to start watching, don't start with Barcelona, because they'll just pass the ball around,
put you to sleep,
and then eventually they'll score 2 goals and they'll win, and that's just how they do it. So.
Gotcha. So, before we wrap up, wanted to talk also. So, didn't meet you there, met you at school, but kind of got to know you a little bit better working with you over at ESPN Louisville. So, how did that opportunity to work there come about, and what's that been like for you, getting to work in sports radio?
So, I'm a diehard Louisville fan. I'm 4th generation Louisville. So, my whole family leading up to me has been Louisville fans. So I was actually sitting right down the hall one day after class, and thought I would email and ask if I could have an internship. Ken Silvaggi, the general manager, great guy, and Max knows him as well. He's a great guy. He allowed me to do the internship over the summer. I did. I asked if there were any part-time openings at the time. They said that there were on nights and weekends, which I don't have time for because I have grad school and I coach on nights and weekends. Luckily, I emailed back 2 or 3 months later after doing another internship with a different company, and they said they had a spot open in the mornings, which it works perfectly with my schedule. I have no problem waking up at 6 every day. And since then, I wasn't really supposed to be a producer when I first got there, but I was sitting in with the program director, James Black, and he just let me, taught me a little bit, showed me how to do some of it.
Yeah.
The hosts were able to waste time with me for 10 or 15 minutes whenever they needed to, because radio hosts can talk about anything. So now on the Diener Show and producing pretty much Monday through Friday, and still part-time employee. So we'll see what happens when I finish grad school.
What time do you get up for? Because the Diener Show's 7 to 10. So
yeah,
you're up at.
I'm up at 6:15 every day, and I'm immediately in the car, sliding right over to the station. So
you're better than I am. I couldn't do. If I'm going to wake up like that, I need full time.
It helps when it's fun, man.
No,
it helps
yeah,
when it's fun.
It's a good show. And speaking of that, real quick before we wrap up, I know yesterday there's a big bombshell on the show that has since been kind of cooled off, but we'll ignore the fact that it's been cooled off.
I would like to.
So coaching search for Louisville basketball, even though we technically have a coach right now, we don't really, but. So real quick, so Scott Drew, I'm assuming, or no. I'll just ask the question: who's your number one and why?
My number one is TJ Otzelberger, I think is how you say it, from Iowa State.
Okay.
But I think the consensus number one would be Scott Drew from Baylor, just because. The bombshell was that Scott Drew is the number one option.
Is the one that are going after.
According to sources close to our athletic director, Josh Hurd. That is not anybody saying that he's going to come, and but
an attempt is being made.
An attempt is being made, which is good to hear, because, to be honest with you, I think a lot of people were confused about the financial situation, and I think that we're even trying to offer him, which we know it's going to take quite the offer, is a good sign about where we're at.
So. Not going to go bargain bin shopping.
No. And to be honest, and the college sports landscape's changing. So I'm okay. I'll obviously, I'm a Louisville fan, root for whoever they get, but I'm open, more open than I probably would have been before NIL to whoever gets hired, just because you don't know how they're going to handle that sort of thing, and we hear all the time that our NIL landscape's great. So.
Yeah, it's worked in football. So
Yes, it has.
would think whoever it is, I don't think it would take John Wooden to win here. I think Louisville sells itself. So
Yeah.
we've gone to 15 minutes now, so I think that's supposed to keep it around 10. But
Okay.
had a good conversation today. It's all right. It went a little bit long, but appreciate the time, and we'll see you tomorrow or whenever I'm in next.
All right, sounds good. Yeah.